Hey everyone, my name's Walter, and we're back here with some more stories from Reddit. Am I the Asshole is the place where you can post stories about things that happened to you in real life and ask Redditors, the internet's greatest source of sanity, who was in the right, if anyone was. That should be enough setup. Let's just get started with stories from Reddit. Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for laughing at my brother's girlfriend after she asked me why none of us like her? My, 20 female, brother, Mark, 23 male, has been with his girlfriend, 22 female, Jane, for a year. She is one of the most passive-aggressive, snarky people you will ever meet. Her middle name is Petty. The thing that caused our family to keep her at arm's length was when she got mad at our mum for accommodating our younger sister's autism and not force-feeding her, as well as allowing her to read at the table, something that calms her down. She got on mum's arse for enabling an entitled brat. Another example was when my mum supported Mark's decision to get the tattoo he'd been saving up for years. Jane proceeded to call mum up to complain that he made the deposit with his hard-earned saved money and had an appointment set. She told mum that she wasn't going to allow this emotional incest anymore and that she's happy to make an appointment for all of us for family therapy as this enmeshment is making her uncomfortable. She has continued to make comments like these, specifically to mum, and it's disgusting how little respect she has for pretty much everyone but herself. She's not been invited to Christmas this year, but Mark is. It's unclear what they're planning to do yet. A few days ago, Jane called me as mum had blocked her. She said she was 3 months pregnant and went on a long rant about the family dynamic. She then asked, "Why don't you all like me?" I laughed out of pure shock and asked if she was serious. She didn't even respond, just said, "I'll call you when you're in the mood to be more mature," and hung up. I told mum about the situation and she's on my side, but Mark is fuming at me for laughing at Jane's question and angry at mum for being on my side. Mum just told him that he needs to talk to Jane about her constant comments and insults, and she's expecting an apology. Mark won't talk to me and Jane blocked my number. Am I the asshole? Edit, the tattoo has got nothing to do with our mum. It's an octopus up his arm that my brother designed himself. He does art and wanted to be a tattoo artist. This woman's completely insane. You can't just talk about people's families like that. A lot of people will get really pissed and just won't put up with it. And then she turns around and has the thinnest skin in history, because don't they always? Oh, how dare you laugh at her when she's acting like a clown. Frankly speaking, in my family, she would have been thrown out of the house after that entitled brat comment. No debate, just straight ejected. She is unfathomably entitled, insults everyone around her, and doesn't see any flaws in herself. I'm not sure if it's narcissism, shitty parenting, or both, but those are all major red flags. Not the asshole. That's an abuser trying to isolate your brother from his friends and family, and succeeding. You need to all get together and fix this before it gets worse. Gotta hope not if she's pregnant. Oh wait, the author added some more details in a comment. Jane bullied an autistic child. Our sister just turned 8. Told my mum multiple times she should have aborted, and that foster care is always an option because she wouldn't deal with the tantrums. This was after my sister went to her room to self-regulate her emotions after being emotionally overstimulated by Jane's dog, who we told her not to bring. She bullied my mum by putting her down at every opportunity possible, and picked on her insecurities. She gave my cousin with an eating disorder a dieting cookbook. And she doesn't know why no one in our family likes her? Unless she is totally stunted, she knows why. She sounds lovely, doesn't she? Totally not going to mess up her kid. My, 29 male, brother, 31 male, is marrying my high school sweetheart, 28 female, and I refuse to attend the wedding. I dated this girl, Val, fake name, when I was 17 and her 16. We were close. We swapped virginities, but I found we were incompatible around the time I turned 18. Val was understandably upset. I told her she needed to let it go and it took her a year to move on. As time went on, I regretted breaking up with Val, but she was in a committed relationship with someone else by the time I realized I wanted her. About 5 years after breaking up with Val, I found out she had unknowingly moved 3 blocks away from my house. We hung out a few times and I walked her home from work since we also unknowingly worked right across the street from each other. I took this as a sign that we were going to get back together, but Val unfortunately told me that she no longer has the feelings she did when we were in high school and that it's best to stay friends as we were. I was sad, but I respected her decision. I ended up moving to a different state shortly after that. A year later, my brother Nick had asked me about my history with Val. I was confused on how he would know her since they never met, and Nick was already out of high school when Val and I met. I sugarcoated it and said that she was just a high school fling. Nick asked if it would bother me if he started to hang out with her, because at the time his best friend was just murdered and her long-term relationship had just ended, and they both wanted someone to fuck their feelings out with. I said I didn't care given the circumstances, and it probably wouldn't last because they didn't have genuine feelings for each other. This was in 2019, and now in 2023, Nick and Val are planning their wedding. Nick asked me to be his best man, and I said no. He was confused, and I told him he's marrying my high school sweetheart, and there's no way I could stand at the altar and watch him marry her. He threw in the fact he asked me if he could date her before even doing anything, and I said I didn't care, and now all of a sudden I do. I told him I always cared, I just didn't think it would last because he's such a dickhead, and she's the sweetest person you'd ever meet, and it was a sucky situation that they even started hooking up in the first place, and it didn't make sense that she chose him over me. He said that maybe I should have realized what I had before calling it quits with Val. I guess he told Val what was said because she later messaged me saying that we were literal kids when we dated and I needed to let it go, and it's weird that now I'm suddenly not okay with them together when it's been years since it first started. I didn't argue with her. I just informed my family that I wouldn't be attending the wedding. My mom, stepdad, and most of my family are taking Nick's side, saying it's been well over 10 years. And I had the chance to speak up while my younger twin siblings are on my side, saying Nick should respect the bro code. I'm at a loss right now. Am I being unreasonable refusing to be a part, let alone attend the wedding? Should I just keep silent and let it happen? You ever notice how a good 50% of people will say something, let alone something else, and then put them in the wrong order? Well anyway, what is the other option aside from keeping silent and letting it happen? Waiting until they ask for objections and storming in? I can't really imagine feeling anything about a relationship I had as a teenager at this point. Swapped virginities. I'll trade you my pee-pee for your hoo-ha. A lot of people are making fun of that. But I think this one line sums up the story. It doesn't make sense that she chose him over me. That's not even really what happened, of course. It's also amazing that he thought it might not get back to the bride that the planned best man refused to do it because he had unrequited feelings for her. That's pretty scandalous, isn't it? Anyway, he doesn't have to do the wedding, but I'd say he's being an asshole in general. And let's read about another wedding issue. Am I the asshole for not including my sister-in-law in photos during my bachelorette party because she wore white? I'm getting married. Yay! And my brother, John, asked me to include his girlfriend, Sarah, as a bridesmaid, as a way to get her involved with our family since he wants to propose soon. I wasn't happy. She's quite snobbish, almost in a comically villainous way. She once made fun of the fact that I get most of my groceries from the local big box supercenter and not somewhere with more high-quality product. But I love John and it mattered a lot to him, so I agreed. On to the issue. On the final night of my bachelorette party, we decided to have one big meal that was really pricey and fancy that we all saved up for. Sarah said she had to take an emergency work meeting and for us to go ahead first. The restaurant was walkable from our hotel. Guys, when Sarah showed up, I was floored. She came in a white sparkly sequin number with a tulle skirt and a tiara. When we were planning the trip, my maid of honor made it abundantly clear that everyone was supposed to wear pink so we could get a really cute photo together at the restaurant. I'm not even kidding, her outfit was so bridal looking the waitress actually asked if we were having a joint bachelorette party. I was so upset that when it came time to take photos, I absolutely refused to have Sarah in them. She said it wasn't her fault because she didn't get the memo, but I told her it was common sense to not wear a bridal-looking dress to a bachelorette party if you're not the bride. Plus, she was in the group chat and even made comments about another girl's outfit when we were talking about what we wanted to wear, so I know she knew. All of my friends were on my side and they made sure she didn't end up in the photos. When we got home, she pitched a fit to my brother, saying that we bullied her at my party and deliberately left her out. She was also pissed because a lot of family and friends noticed she wasn't in the photos, and I wasn't afraid to tell them exactly why. My brother's really upset though because she's been crying and whining about it non-stop since. Apparently they're both so mad that they're going to skip Father's Day brunch, so the whole thing is blowing up even more. I'm starting to feel bad because my mom told me that my brother and Sarah were fighting a lot now, so I'm not sure if I'm being the asshole here. My brother called me a bridezilla, but I really feel like Sarah was trying to ruin my night. Is she perhaps trying to ruin the marriage with pointless drama? I'm a man with very little knowledge on wedding etiquette, but I can still tell this is malicious. And then she's the one who throws a fit, but the OP is a bridezilla? I thought she had the patience of a saint, personally. Yep, and there was no work meeting. She knew she couldn't wear that unless no one saw her until she was at the restaurant. That got me too. She was deliberately behind the others so no one could say anything before they arrived. She knew exactly what she was doing. OP should talk with people she trusts, who also attend, because I can only imagine what sister-in-law will do on OP's wedding day. Someone has to look at the door to see if sister-in-law does anything bad, like wearing a wedding dress. OP can concentrate on the wedding while people she trusts help her out. Edit, OP should also inform the people at her venue. Yeah, you'd sure hate to end up with another double wedding, huh? I know this is mostly women commenting on this post, but even as a man, I'd say kick her out of the bridal party. This won't be her last go at ruining your special day. Let's keep going. Am I the asshole for canceling my plans with my cousin's kids over them calling me a hurtful nickname? My, 19 female, mom is mixed indigenous/black, and I look a lot like her, so I'm considerably darker than the rest of my dad's mostly Italian and German family. When I was a little kid, my cousins used to make fun of me a lot because of that, and had a specific nickname for me that could be translated as Little Cole. I guess the nickname by itself isn't that bad, but I associate it with bad memories. I was taking my cousin's kids, 6 male and 8 female, to get ice cream, when they started calling me that nickname. I asked them to please not call me that because it made me very sad, but they continued calling me it. I asked them 2 more times to not do it, but since they kept going, I called my cousin to notify her that something had come up and I couldn't take the kids to ice cream anymore. I explained to them that I was dropping them off, and they thought I was kidding until I got them to their house and bid goodbye. Then they started apologizing, but I told them that I was hurt by them not stopping when I asked them to, and went away. My cousin called me to say that I was being immature, and that now her kids were crying because their aunt was upset at them. She also said that kids this age don't understand consequence, so me canceling it was just an asshole move since they wouldn't understand it because they were calling me the nickname. Am I the asshole here? I don't have kids, so I honestly don't know what to do. I just canceled because I really hate the nickname and felt like I would have a very bad time if they kept calling me it the entire time. I feel like I am entitled to not like them calling me it, but that maybe I dealt with the situation wrong. I've got to feel like if our kids don't understand consequences at that age, that it's probably the parents' fault. I'm not going to let someone bully me just because they're a kid. That's all the more reason you don't have to. It's like that King of the Hill episode. Can confirm, my almost 7-year-old understands that if he misbehaves at the park, we go home and he doesn't get to play the next day after school. I also would be so disappointed in him for bullying anyone. It doesn't matter if he doesn't understand how he upset someone. If someone tells him he's upset them, he'll apologize and ask if he can give them a hug. So yes, in my opinion, 6 and 8 are more than old enough not to bite the hand that's literally feeding you. This also sounds pretty racist, of course. It got to a certain point where I hated to visit my dad's relatives because I knew they were going to call me the nickname and make fun of my appearance, or my mom. It sucked because to the adults at the time it was just a funny nickname, but to me it was very upsetting. My dad thinks this is just the way that his family is, and they are too much into their own bubble to change. My mom refuses to have any relationship with Dad's family because they were way more racist to her and said some very nasty things when she and Dad started dating. I haven't really informed them of this specific incident yet, but they have both said that it would be understandable if I wanted to stop contact with Dad's family for my mental health. Wow, that sounds a lot worse with context. This isn't a playful nickname, that's just them being completely racist to her face, and taking it out on not only his wife but also his daughter. I feel like maybe this didn't happen in America. The nickname was in Portuguese, so maybe that's a clue. Well, let me know what you think, but that's about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you have something to say, you should let me hear it down in the comments. I'll be there reading them. And it helps with the algorithm or some shit. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more of this and whatever else I feel like talking about in the near future. And finally, big thanks to my amazing patrons who help support me more directly over on Patreon every month. It really helps me pay for food right now. Have a great day, everyone, and try not to wear a tiara to your friend's bachelorette party. Like the kind of woman who owns a tiara doesn't understand that.